Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren. My lovely co-host, who is color matching me with his clothing today, which just talks about the same brain that we have,
Right.
is.
This is Jason.
And we have a semi-regular co-host and 1,000 subscribers, new to the 1,000 subscriber mark. Our lovely friend, and his name is Devin. And below us is a couple of semi-regular guests. We've had Jojo the Techie and Sam from the Nomad Tech Project. How's everybody doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Very good. And, again, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Tech Disruptors podcast, and you shouldn't be, you should be subscribed and liking and commenting. We talk about tech, and we are a handful of tech enthusiasts who have, I don't want to say expertise because that kind of makes it sound like, wanky and self-conscious, but we love to talk tech. We are tech experts, if you will, and we got a lot on the show this week. It's been a big week in the world of Muskland, also known as Tesla. Some crazy TikTok stuff. It's been a week. Now I just want to kick things off. I want to talk, Devin. You had your big 1,000K podcast session just this past Friday. I'm surprised you're A, alive, and B, still awake. So how was that? Give us the rundown. How did it go, Devin?
Yeah, it was good. So, just for anybody that doesn't know, we finally hit 1,000 subscribers. So to celebrate, I streamed for 1,000 minutes, which equates to we ended up streaming for just over 17 hours total. We attempted to raise $1,000 for Extra Life and Children's Miracle Network hospitals. We're at right about $650 right now, so we're gonna use the next couple of months to get to that $1,000. And we gave away well over $1,000 worth of prizes to everybody, giveaways and a bunch of different stuff. Thanks in part to not only Jason being generous and giving away a set of headphones, but as well to the $1,000 check from Tech Disruptors. Definitely get to that mark.
Yes. Now, listen, that's by no means is that an easy accomplishment, and I just want to give a big props to Devin. I was popping in and out. I was at work during the day, and I was popping in and out, just seeing how things were going. I was a little bit jealous of the food you were making because it looked so delicious.
Still eating it every single meal since then. Not gonna lie. So good.
Now he said he was going to mail some out to Jason and I. We're still waiting. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm sure it will. Probably still good. Just put that in the microwave for 18 minutes. No, I was very, very jealous and a very awesome accomplishment on your behalf. And if you are still interested and you want to check out what Devin does, check him out on X and check out his YouTube channel and donate. Right? It's for a great cause. And really proud of you, Devin. Really good job, man. I know it was the Tech Disruptors that helped you get to that 1,000, but we appreciate the journey. Now, Jojo, it's been a while since we've had you on. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Same as
well? A
lot of traveling, a lot of writing, and streaming.
Now, Jojo is she is one of our favorite people to have on because she's so knowledgeable about so many different areas, and we love having your expertise on it. It helps balance the chaos between Jason, Devin, and I a lot of the time. It's kind of like a yin and yang situation. You're definitely the yin, and we're definitely the yang. But we appreciate you. And then last but not least, Sam. How's it going, Sam?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good.
AKA Reggie.
Yeah. AKA Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie.
Yeah, the resident crazy person. That's okay. How you guys doing? Good.
Yes,
and Jojo especially. I love always.
Well, Sam, I caught you on the phonies. Was it yesterday? I believe. Yeah, yesterday. That's a good
yeah, I actually and honestly, I wasn't really prepared for that. I kind of dropped in on that. I saw they started. They didn't invite me. Imagine that. That's kind of a thing. But it's okay. Yeah, it's a great show. Dan and Mac do a really good job. That's a lot of fun. They're more into photography, and that's not my wheelhouse at all. So I appreciate kind of piggybacking on their stuff.
And another fellow podcaster on the Tech Disruptors podcast, Dan, who you know from Dan Grounded Tech, and he does his own little thing, a bunch of phonies, really great, another one to check out. So I mean, realistically, if you were to add our podcast, Dan's podcast, and you tuned into Devon Weekly and the Nomad Tech Project and everything else, you'd have a whole week of listening. You could have like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday situation going on there. I'm just saying, I could populate your podcasting playlist for you if you would like. Just reach out in the comments if you're interested. I'll cue that right up for you and we'll get all that going. But enough talk about what's going on in the world with everyone else. But let's talk about the tech world. And I'm going to kick things off. We tend to kind of start in the world of the chaos of tech and then kind of like slowly pare back down. So, Jason, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to ask you a very poignant question here. So, how often do you get your internal health checked out at a doctor?
Annually.
Annually, okay, that's pretty good. I think that's
my
what
next appointment is next Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. Doctor recommended. Devon, about the same, I would imagine.
Sometimes, yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Oh, I'm 50, so it's at least twice a year, sometimes quarterly.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Well, once you get to my age, you need to do a little bit more checks, and once every other 3 or 4 years or so, you need to kind of stay on top of that.
Sorry.
50 starts to be where things start to happen. You have like colonoscopies and other kind of checks. Yeah, it's like an older car, right? Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I'm only 25.
You gotta do the regular maintenance a little bit more often than
oil change, that kind of stuff.
Differential fluid. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Darren,
And
funny
Jojo, I'm not gonna. Yes.
Well, before you ask, so there's a website called Hims. They do like hair growth, ED medication, supplements, weight loss.
All of what Jason uses.
I was going through because I wanted some supplements, like some multivitamins, and it was asking a bunch of questions. And I'm not kidding you. After I was done, the only thing they've recommended was weight loss.
Oh no!
And I'm not overweight. I don't know why. I don't know if it costs the most. That's what the most money they're making off of it or not. But
well, I mean, I've heard of the brand. I mean, at least it didn't say you needed Viagra.
Maybe some hair loss stuff would have been nice to recommend. They asked me.
Well, I mean, did you have to upload a photo?
No, they just asked your height, weight. Do you have stress, anxiety, basic stuff, and then a professional gave me a recommendation. So it was interesting.
Now, Jojo, I mean, we're talking about men's health here, but I will just include you in this. And I'm
it will be about the same for women once a year.
Okay. Now, here is my follow-up question.
Oh, no.
Now, how much do you trust your general practitioner, your regular doctor? How much do you trust them? On a scale of 1 to 10, let's just give me a number between 1 and 10. 10 being, they would save your life if you were choking, no problem. 1 being, they're like the one from The Simpsons, Dr. Nick Riviera, who probably got his license in Hawaii. So, Jason, scale of 1 to 10?
I would say 9. I'm relatively new to this. Like when I turned a certain age is when I started going.
Okay.
And ever since then, it's been like blood work, and I've got everything evened out now. So I'd say 9.
Okay, Devon?
Yeah, pretty 9-ish.
Pretty competent? Okay,
good,
Sam?
Yeah. My doctor retired this year, so I saw a nurse practitioner. So with him, I'd say maybe 8, a good solid 7.5.
Well, good news about that.
The nurse practitioner, I don't know who I'm getting now. I don't know. That's to be determined. I'll see you I'll see you in January.
Right,
we have a solution for you. That's what we're getting at. We have a solution for you.
We might have a solution for you. And Jojo, scale of 1 to 10?
I would be about a 7 just because it's a different doctor because I moved about a year and a half ago. So I'm still establishing that trust.
So mine too. I know Maddie just said 0. He might need a new doctor, which makes a lot of sense. I know with my doctor. So my doctor decided to move like 2 hours south of where he was currently practicing. It was just too far for me to drive. So I went to his incumbent, his follow-up, the guy who took his place. And he's a very young guy, which is fine. But when the last time I went in there for a physical, he talked about how much he loved to mountain bike for about 45 minutes. And I think he checked my blood pressure for about 30 seconds and made me cough once. And that was it. So I'm going to say about a 6 for me.
Now,
But
hold
what
on.
Yeah.
Doctors, counselors. I was a counselor for many years before the job I'm in now.
Yeah.
We talk 24/7. That's all we do.
Of course.
Doctors talk. At some point, you do have to release a little bit of personal information. Maybe not 45
Yes.
minutes of mountain biking, but you got to build that professional rapport with the person
Yes.
you're working with.
Well, my point is too is like when your doctor starts talking to you about mountain biking, let's just say that's what he's into. Now, because he's your doctor, if you are not a mountain biker, do you just go, oh yeah, that sounds really good, I love to mountain bike too, just to placate so you go along, or do you be like, mountain bike's not my thing? Because remember, this is also the person who's going to be examining your
Well, Darren, I actually
intimates.
enjoy mountain biking, so I'd be okay
Well,
with
there you go. Well, I mean, I don't mind to bike. I'm not necessarily a mountain biker, but what I'm getting at and what my point is would you trust a robot to do the examining?
I already know how Sam
So-
would answer
Wow. Wait.
So I just thought this is an article that came out this week
this.
from New Atlas.
You
And,
had to show the picture.
Yes, I had to show the picture. Sorry about that. So this robot finger could be the next.
That's a finger?
That's a finger. That's a finger. Yes, I know. This is Sunday night podcast, people. This is a finger.
That's
day
a
of the
phallus. That's not a finger, but okay.
Now I want to show you this because it has you the degree of
Again,
movability.
not a finger.
So
Wow.
this is the degree of movability of said object here. So anyway, right now they're trialing a robot finger/fingers, which consists of a bending actuation body and integrated multimodal sensing, and has a finger-like semicircular shape. Basically, if you can imagine, instead of your doctor's finger, moving robotic thing checking for your intimate details. Now listen, so the total length is 5 inches. How long are your doctor's fingers? Because the last time I checked,
I
don't
would say
think
it's
my
pretty
doctor-
average. I'm
pretty,
saying-
5 inches? 5 inches for a doctor's finger?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I saw my doctor's hands; they look pretty small to me. And I'm kind of glad about that, if I'm being honest.
Darren, it's
But
not about the size; it's how you use it.
how to use them? Yes.
Come on.
So, anyway,
This is going off rails.
yes. Sorry, I know. But anyway, apparently, according to this article here, it says that it's able to achieve comparable to human tactile sensing for palpitations and abnormalities, because it is so advanced and in its machine and its capabilities.
Now hold
So-
on. So what I see? Okay, so it's already in very uncomfortable situation to be in. You know,
Yes.
you have a doctor, and they, you know. I think the only benefit for this would be maybe it wouldn't be as uncomfortable, but because there's not an actual human. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be humans involved somewhere, but maybe it's not as. I don't know. It's still kind of weird.
This is definitely going to be one of those things that everybody looks back at 100 years from now
Yeah.
as like, a human did that? You let a doctor, a random
Right.
doctor, do that to you?
Yes.
You got a point
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
let
really good
someone
point.
use their actual finger?
Well,
Yeah.
so you know
These
what's
pictures are so phallic. It's terrible.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean, this is like the
I
worst
think-
picture.
I think this photo is the worst of it. I think, like, if we're going to be honest with you, that one does
That's
not
the first
look
one you
very
showed. I
appealing.
couldn't stop laughing.
It looks
Yes.
terrifying.
It does look a little bit terrible. Now, okay, so
Very
let's look
industrial.
at the glass half full here, right? So, glass half full, perhaps, just maybe, it could be more accurate, right? I mean, again, you're relying upon the hand of a doctor to identify and sorry, Matt's comment there. You're relying upon the hand of a doctor to be able to identify these things. But what if this had sensors and I don't want to say cameras because that implies other things, but just imagine if it did have that capability, maybe it would be more accurate, right? So is that really that
It
crazy?
might be more accurate just because humans, as we get age, some doctors are older than others. Maybe maybe they don't feel things the same way or
Yes.
able to tell differences. It's just like if you go to a doctor and they diagnose you with something and you get a second opinion. I mean, this
Well-
might actually, I don't know why we're talking about this, but maybe it would be more.
Okay.
It's also
AI,
something
all
that,
kind of
the easier this gets to do, the more compact this becomes. You could get a do-it-at-home, kit
Well,
for
here-
yourself,
it's not-
right?
A little
Like,
Lego.
Devin, what you're missing in the rest of that picture behind the black part, that's actually a Google Home Assistant, and you just say, "Hey,
Hey, Google.
please
Yeah.
check my prostate."
Oh yeah. Listen, this
Man,
is
we need to stop.
this is the state
you
of
can
tech.
order replacement fingers when they wear out.
Oh, yeah,
after
that's
you-
exactly right.
because obviously,
The next Google Home
you-
Assistant comes with it.
It's in your Amazon shopping list.
Yeah, on my Amazon shopping list. Please bring me a new finger sensor pad.
Alexa, please
It
send me
renews automatically.
some- Jesus.
It would save the trip to the doctor, so I'm just saying it might be.
You know what? Honestly, there's some, maybe not this procedure or colonoscopies. Let's say that probably wouldn't be something you want to do at home. But there's some procedures that maybe with technology would be more beneficial to be at home. You
Yes.
wouldn't have to drive somewhere. I mean, we talk about,
Yeah.
like my wife makes fun of my Tesla because it pretty much does everything for you. This AI technology coming out is pretty much making us very lazy.
Yeah.
Some things are good or some things are bad.
Well, okay, so here's the funny thing. So I've just been doing a little bit more research here to see if I could find what the contraption is. So apparently this is part of a robot arm, and they were demonstrating this on live TV just the other day. So let me just...
how big is the arm?
No, it's
Okay,
not-
I'll
We
show
have to
you.
watch it.
Yeah.
C'est la 2.
Oh God.
Attends, parce que je mets...
So
Attendez, parce qu'il y a mon aide-soignant qui est...
I don't know...
Ouais, ouais, voilà.
I
C'est le-
just see-
Ah non, c'est visiblement... Je sais pas. Ah, bah, t'as pas cru que j'avais pas
not a
perdu
real
la main?
video, though, right?
Est-ce
This
que
is
vous
made
pouvez
up,
couper le...
right?
Ah on va...
Okay, I'll stop it there. But
Jesus.
anyway,
Hold on,
Listen,
hold on.
the-
We got one person who's been kind of quiet this whole time, and I would say that.
Sam.
Well-
Sam's been cringing every time he watched that video.
Now hold on.
Well,
Sam.
okay,
You said
so-
you just retired.
So a,
Just because
a
I would be
couple of
interested.
things. I don't think I know JoJo has never had this exam.
No.
Right? She doesn't.
Fortunately.
She doesn't have a prostate. Okay. So also,
call.
if you're under 45, you probably haven't had this exam either.
True.
I've had this exam a couple of times. It's kind of what happens when you get old.
Yep.
Yes.
Right here. Right.
Yep.
So probably nobody on this panel's had this. Has anybody had this actual check at their doctor during their normal physical?
Jason hasn't had this check, but something similar.
Okay, so colonoscopies are different, right? They're checking for polyps in your colon. They're going way past the prostate. They're going
Yes.
up into your plumbing,
in
right?
the U.S.
Yeah.
though, you have an age like you said, 45. Like
I think it's
colonoscopies,
45,
like
yeah.
50 or older.
Right.
Unless you have,
Right,
like
yeah.
I had family history, so I've had a bunch of them.
Right,
They're
so-
very uncomfortable.
So most men under 40 have not had a prostate exam.
right.
I don't have a problem with this, and actually, to be honest with you, I told you my doctor retired. So when I went in July, I had a nurse practitioner as
Yes.
a gap. Right? She was a woman. I did not have a hernia check, and I did not have a prostate exam.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know why. It's not because I wasn't supposed to. If that was Dr. Ban, who is my doctor, I would have absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I would have, yep. And I would have, well, but
With
she
the sound
purposely didn't do it. And I think it's because she was a woman, honestly.
Yes.
And
100%.
and that's okay. Like, I don't care. I don't have like Jason's, I don't have a history of prostate cancer or anything. So what I'm saying though is in these cases, you can have a regular prostate exam because it's just checking for abnormalities on your prostate, right? It's checking for
Yeah.
bumps, and that's what starts the prostate cancer screening. But
Yes.
also, I don't think necessarily having this procedure necessarily is not appropriate, right? I mean, if they can feel, if the robot can feel an abnormality and do what a doctor would normally do, right? I don't think that one is better and or the other, right? A doctor who's 30 years of checking
No, exactly.
prostates probably knows a prostate exam, right?
Yeah.
I guess, like I said, it's more not clinical. It's more how you feel societally about these kind of invasive medical procedures. If you're
Yes.
a guy, most women have Pap smears, right? And they are not pleasant. They are something that's clinical, right? And again,
Yeah.
I think we're putting more of a social, like, angle
spin
on
it.
this, as opposed
Yes.
to if some procedures can be done. I mean, like I said, I had a CPAP, right, and I decided to do a sleep study in house. But a lot of times they have suggested they will send a sleep monitor to your house, and you can actually do the sleep study at home, right? You put a thing on your head, and it sees how many times you have apneic events, and then
Yes.
right. I personally want to do it in person, but I know a lot of people have CPAP machines that were given that based on a automated home kit, right?
Well, now the
And
Apple Watch does it, doesn't it?
well, maybe possibly if you have sleep apnea, which I do. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a CPAP for years. I personally was offered, hey, you can get this at home kit, right? And they will track it and they will be okay. Or do you want to come into an office and actually have a sleep study where they literally put 100 wires on you and you try to sleep and you can't?
Yeah, you
And-
can't.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like to Jason's point, I think that some of these basic, when you're having a yearly physical, man or woman can do this. But I think, I think it's not necessarily inappropriate. I think that actually, for anything, it would be okay as long as it gets the job done and it doesn't
Yeah.
feel socially awkward or whatever. And actually, I think if you had it in the privacy of your own home and you could self-administer some kind of diagnostic test for men's and women's health, I don't think it's inappropriate. I think there can be
No,
some
I think
use
it's
for that.
definitely an application there, and that's what I was saying. I mean, I think it might not be a bad idea if it actually works,
Right,
And it's
that's
more
the trick.
accurate, right? Yeah. So
I think it's
yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
he said, the social thing. You show that picture, it's very alarming. It's something different.
yes,
Something we're not
you
used
see the
to.
image, yeah.
It's
Well, I
already
mean, an index finger, I mean, if you want to measure it, it's probably 3 to 4 inches for a man's index finger. And that's what they usually, and some doctors I've seen have the index and middle finger, and they
Yeah.
do
Now,
their
is it weird?
check.
Now, is it weird that my doctor wears all of his gold rings on his fingers when he does it?
That's a little awkward, yeah.
Okay. I was like,
That's awkward. I'm not saying, I'm
How much
not
does
trying
he
to
charge
judge you. I mean, if you're okay receiving, that's fine, but I'm just saying that's not
This is the
normal.
health
He
disruptor
just,
podcast.
yeah,
Right.
that's right. Anyway, now
everyone
speaking,
uncomfortable listening while we do.
I know.
You know,
I
Devin's
think
been kind
Matt-
of quiet too, kind of shaking his head a little bit. I'm not sure why.
Maddie said it right. Tech disruptors after dark, right? So
Right.
I feel like we're out there. Now, actually, Sam, you brought up a good point here because you talked about sleep. Now, another article that came out this week that caught my attention is this one here, which is crazy to me. And I'm just going to kind of give you the basic here. So, right, they've been testing a theory for a little while now in the world of tech. If people are able to communicate, two people sleeping at the same time, if they can communicate with each other. And they've just recently done a test, and they believe that they've created an apparatus that allows people to communicate, kind of like sending a text message between two people that are sleeping in a lucid dream sleeping state. So for those of you who don't know what lucid sleeping or lucid dreams are, essentially it is a state of sleep where apparently you know you are sleeping, but your brain is partially awake. And basically,
the article
there's
even says like Inception style.
yeah. So basically,
Which
what
is a
they've
confusing movie.
I know, yeah. But this company, REM Space, so they've been doing this research now to see if we can kind of unlock parts of the brain while we're sleeping. And basically, the basic setup was they would put two people into a lucid dreaming state, which would be or rather, they would put themselves into that state. I don't know how accurate that is, but we'll just say it is. And essentially, they would use a form of technology. Now, here they call it, they have a name for it. I forgot, forgive me. Looking at a response that was captured and stored on a server. So basically, I think what they're trying to do here is kind of like upload a message to some kind of connected server between the two sleeping participants. So if you imagine two brains connected in lucid dreaming state to one machine, one person goes to sleep into lucid dreaming first. They leave a message on this server. The other person goes into a lucid dreaming state and tries to access the message on that same server that's connected these two brains. So basically, they're saying here that they've successfully managed to do it. Like two people in a lucid dreaming state have managed to send subconscious message communicating with each other. Now, I've got a little video here which might help clarify what I'm looking at here. So what you're seeing here is kind of the basic setup of this machine. So it's two people connected to monitors, a whole bunch of different machines, connected to Wi-Fi connected. I'm going to say Dream server. That's probably a terrible name for it.
They're sleeping on Tron beds, I see.
So, yes, exactly. So essentially, they upload the message subconsciously to this server, and the other person can download the message, kind of like a send and receive kind of situation.
Yeah, this sounds like my boss is trying to get me to respond to emails while I'm sleeping again.
Sleeping, yes. Yeah. So anyway, so basically, so it's an interesting concept. Interesting concept. Now, I know, I mean, again, someone, I don't know who posted that, but someone said, well, they know if they've read the text. I think so. I think the idea is that you go to sleep and you know, subconsciously record this message, and the other person then tries to access this message in their own sleep state. It's a crazy concept. I know. It's like, I know this is like out of the world tech. I know. I'm sorry. I'm blowing Jason's mind right now.
No, I just think it's like, along with Devin, it's like, I don't want people to contact me when I'm sleeping.
Is it a blue
What's the
bubble
practical
or a green
application
bubble?
for this?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
What was that?
I think they're trying to see if there is a capability to kind of like link up the sleeping conscious mind. I think that's the basic setup. Now, what's the application? I have no idea. Maybe trying to send a message across long distances from one person A to person B. Spying. I have no idea. But it's a kind of cool, weird, out there kind of idea that caught my attention, because I thought to myself, I thought the same thing. Shit, my boss is going to email me in the middle of the night on this fucking server, and I'm going to have to respond.
Expect me to respond.
And you know what my second, you know what my second thought was?
Do not disturb
Shit.
mode.
Yeah. Well, my second thought.
Will this be like? Will this support RCS?
I don't know. That's the problem, right? Well, my second thought was, am I going to start to get sleep spam? So, like, am I going to get these like spam messages on the server and wake up wanting Wendy's, right? Like, is that what's going to happen?
The amount of tech we have in our world today, we need.
If you
sleep.
can't pay for it, then you're gonna have to get the ad-supported.
Yes,
Yeah, forget doom scrolling. You get. Doom.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to have a dream where your wife basically goes, "Hey, what the hell's going on? Like, what is this shit? Like,
what are you dreaming about?
You're trying to build a go-kart with your ex-landlord. What the hell is going on? Like, right? It's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
What if
like,
your
I
wife's
wake
mad
up
at
and your
you
wife
and
go
you
like,
guys and you ignore
"What
each
the
other the whole
hell
day.
are you dreaming about?" I'm like,
well, yeah. That's
know.
a good point. Can your wife be mad at you in sleep? As
Of course she can. Are you crazy?
You're gonna send a message?
Yeah.
Oh my
Dude,
goodness.
Can't be mad at all times. Yes.
Have you been married more than 12 minutes? Dude, are you kidding me? Dude,
I know.
this is
Why
a
did you
vector
ignore me
for...
all day? Now
Dude,
that
I know.
you'll talk to me now, won't you?
If you're a husband, this is a nightmare scenario.
Yes.
I mean, you can't
Right.
control your own brain during the day when you're trying to like...
I tell you
and
what
then
I'm
your
gonna do.
subconscious brain is going all crazy. Like, dude, you're begging for trouble, dude.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna delete this section of the show in post and make sure this doesn't be seen by anybody, but including my wife.
Right.
And we'll just cut to now, and we're back. So no, just kidding.
Can your wife be mad about stuff that's not your control that she Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
dude. That's how it goes.
I don't even know. It's crazy, right?
I don't.
Now-
It's interesting. That's for sure.
Can I ask
I'm
you
thinking.
guys? Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead, Jojo.
I was thinking, will this be something that can be used maybe if someone's in a coma and you're trying to access?
See, that's
you know,
not a bad idea.
You're trying to communicate with that person because they're technically, their brain's
Yeah.
still working.
Yeah.
they're aware, yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't want the ads either. Get out of here." Sleep
You're in a
me.
coma.
Please
Hey,
unplug
once you
me.
wake
Pull the
up,
cord.
I was gonna say you can ask them if they want to be unplugged or not, and
they're like, hey, once you're awake, Arby's has the meats.
Yes, they're gonna wake up after 10 years of being in a coma and want Dr. Pepper or something.
Well,
Like,
I guess, and to take that to another extension, so like we always had this debate about a physical body being clinically dead,
yeah.
as opposed to are there synapses firing? This is the Terry Schiavo, right? If you want to look that case up, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if you're getting no response from the person's not actively dreaming, actively synapsing, right? Can that be used in court to say, hey, I've been waiting for this person to have a synaptic response for 6 months. I have not seen a dream come from this REM state.
Yeah.
Would that be another reason why you would say that the person is clinically not capable of sentience, right? That's another component where you can kind of stretch this out into a legal. I mean, that does happen. People are in a coma state. They are vegetative, right? How does that leverage, right?
Well, let's break this down. We're going to have robots that can check our prostate, and now we're going to be able to communicate with the dead or the semi-dead. I think we're making progress.
Can I communicate in my dreams to my AI friend, though? That's really
well, that's it. Can you link it up to an app? Like, can you post X messages, while you're in that state? Because that would be amazing. Imagine how much work you could get done.
I think, like JoJo said, on the surface, like, wow, text messaging, we're making fun of it. But I think there's a deeper
100%,
application for this. It's kind of like everything we see. It's, why is Elon Musk making robots that walk around and dance and serve drinks? It's not the fact that they're serving drinks. It's the fact that they can walk around and interact.
The fact that they can do.
Right. I think tech can go too far, and I think in interpreting and monitoring dreams, I think is really too far. That's too far. Yep, that's really.
I think there are parts of the brain we should stay away from.
Right, and I think because again, this is not anything that you can control, and to have this information uploaded to it. I mean, here's the thing, and I think about this from my perspective. Remember, you have people who work in government services who have compartmentalized or secret information, right? And this is something you absolutely cannot control. It's subconsciously tapped into whatever response, right? I think technology can go too far. I think tapping into my dreams is something I would not probably voluntarily do. I just don't think there.
I don't want to recommend
anybody. There's no upside to me for this technology. No.
Absolutely. Now, can I ask you guys a question, just kind of flipping off of the dreams for a second? Do you guys have one of those robo-vacs in your house, like the automatic robo-vacuuming machine? Mm-hmm. Jason does. Jojo, yeah. Now, so one company in particular who's been making these for a while has gotten into a little bit of trouble. So I don't know if you guys know the company EcoVac. So they created that, the D-Bot. There was also a mopping, vacuuming machine. So some hackers have had a little bit of fun with one of these robo-vacs, and maybe a little bit too much fun. So recently, EcoVacs, the company itself, and their line of vacuums were hacked. And the vacuums were being told remotely by hackers to chase pets and to verbally yell hateful racial slurs across the entire house.
Nice.
So
at the pets?
I don't know. At the
or just at humans chasing pets. Frankly, they're eating your pets, and you're gay. Right? That's how it's gonna go.
So making fun of Chihuahuas for being Mexican. I mean, lots of that stuff happening, right? So, what I'm getting at is, this is I have 3 of them in my house. I have literally 1 on each floor, and they're not by EcoVac, fortunately, because I would have loved to have come home from work one day and the RoboVac just go to me, "Hey, you Australian cracker, what's going on?" Like, I would have loved to have had that say something like that to me. I would have been, first of all, I would have had a full conversation with it because, I'm lonely like that. But I don't have any pets in the house. But I think it's funny that hackers managed to get into their system to make this happen, right? To chase it around.
Where there's a will, there's a way. They'll hack anything they can.
Well, it's funny. So I tried to find a video of this happening. And of course, no one video documented it. But I did find this, which this might make you laugh. And let me just pull it up. No, Jason, it's not what you think, just for the record. So this was, someone posted this up on TikTok, and... So basically, that was a RoboVac. So I have a Ring camera, and I always thought to myself, because they're usually pretty smart, these RoboVacs. Like, they know when there's an edge and a lip and, when there's stuff on the ground that you shouldn't go into. But it's funny that in that particular clip, it's going out the door, probably chasing whoever's pet that was. But, going out the door, chasing it down the thing.
See,
but
I would see more like, I have the Amazon Astro still, and I know they shut down the business end of that, so it's not used for what the hell they were doing with them. And mine had a bunch of issues and had to do a factory reset. I could see someone hacking that. Because it's got cameras with a periscope that goes up, and they can hack my house, look all around everywhere. And they couldn't open doors or anything, but they could look at
Well, you got to remember,
beautiful
most of those
things and
RoboVac
whatnot.
vacuums are their video camera, right? So like that's how they navigate with like lidar and stuff like that. So it's absolutely, is it possible for a hacker to scan around your house? Sure. What are they going to see? A bunch of people's toes, maybe some shoes, some shit on the ground, maybe not all that much in the way of information. I mean, I'm not leaving my license on the carpet. So, I mean, as far as I know, you're not getting any kind of sensitive information, but it can record audio and it can play audio too. And that's
the one I have is Roomba, an iRobot, whatever it's called.
Yep.
I don't think it does. It talks like, "Hey, I'm stuck," but I don't
Yep.
think there's a camera on it too. It actually has a camera on the front to find obstacles.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't know.
Well,
why-
hackers managed to make it record, like they managed to interact with it on an audio level, right? So it has to be
That's
able to
crazy.
play, and which again is crazy to me. But yeah, Devin, go ahead.
I didn't read the article, but did it say whether they had like done this on like a programming level, like they reprogrammed some of these to go and do this by themselves, or did they actually like take over and like
So-
they're driving the vac around?
So it said here that in a statement that it identified a credential stuffing event and blocked the IP address it originated from. So it came from somewhere. They managed to get access, I guess, through maybe the Wi-Fi network of the home that they were, the homes that they were managed to get into. Apparently, they were able to bypass it using a PIN entry to gain access to the vacuum. So basically, they used a back door into through the home's Wi-Fi into the vacuum and managed to access the the internals and had a field day. Which I mean, again, like Matt said, he said his cat deserves it. I mean, honestly, that would, if I had a pet, it would probably keep the pet entertained for hours, running around being chased by the vacuum. I'm okay with that, right? Gives them their
I mean,
exercise.
If they gained access to the Wi-Fi, wouldn't they have thought of something else that would have,
Well, maybe
Right.
not. I mean, maybe
More.
it's just for shits and giggles, right? Like, yeah.
Well,
I mean, look, there's lots of people out there who just do it because they want to cause chaos, right? I mean,
Well,
chaos creators, if you will.
you have to think about it from a security perspective, right? So if your Wi-Fi home network is compromised, all devices connected to that network
Yeah.
are compromised, right?
Yep.
So your Hue lights, your Ring cameras, your
Yes.
and also remember your Wi-Fi connected network. If you're dialing into an external IP address using a credential with a public-private key or SSH or whatever, you're dialing into a network. Once they have access to your network, people, unless they understand that their network is breached, they will not change their password. So any devices or anything you do to that network is compromised.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: any vector to your home network is a valid network vector attack, right? And they'll use a phone. They will use a vacuum. They will use anything they can. And once somebody has access to your network, and Darren said your toes.
Yeah.
Let's pull back a little bit. What does that device do? It has a mapping of your home's interior, rooms, and
Good
layout.
point. Yeah.
And if it's listening to audio, it's listening to any conversations you're having. I'm telling you, again, if people don't really understand is when you introduce vectors of attack for a breach, any device is susceptible to a Wi-Fi attack. And no,
100%.
And if they're just jerking around, maybe somebody just wants to be like, frankly, you're stupid, your Roomba's gay, right? Maybe they're doing that. But I don't have a Roomba.
Yeah, but Sam, I see it
because
differently,
I
too,
have two
because-
dogs, and they'll just attack the goddamn thing, and they'll kill it and eat
It
it.
might seem
Right? They
simple.
kill pillows, so that's what I
But
have.
It might seem simple as a vacuum cleaner going through your house, but have you ever had your bank account hacked? They always start with a lot of times they'll start with a small pull from your bank account that you wouldn't really notice or think much about.
Yeah.
And once they know it went through, then they start taking the more cash. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm not a hacker, but it sounds like if they can access your Wi-Fi network, they're going to see, hey, how smart is this person? I'm going to try something small, like something that has a lot of access to stuff like a vacuum, but people wouldn't really know, oh, hey, what's going on here? Unless they're saying racial slurs, I guess.
Yeah.
You're right. Changing your Wi-Fi password requires every Wi-Fi connected device to change. And I hate to say it, for at least for my home, that's like 110 devices that I have to change.
Yeah.
and
But that's what
they
you
can
gotta
lock
do.
you out. But remember, a lot of people who have an SSID and they have an ISP, it's on the back of your router switch, right? And nobody changes their SSID or they don't
use the
disable
same
broadcast,
one.
and they use the same internet password for everything because people are kind of. And if that one password of the SSID is compromised, nobody's really thinking. My question is, how many people here have a ISP router, right? A switch, like either Charter, Google, whatever, right? Have you disabled the broadcast on your router, and have you changed the SSID, and have you changed the password that has happened?
So
And if you
I
have
have Spectrum, which used to be Time Warner.
I have my
actually
own
bought
router.
my own router and my own modem.
Yeah,
and
me
I have
too.
everything changed myself. I don't have anything that's owned by the company.
Okay. Well, you realize that 95% of people who are issued a Spectrum, Charter, T-Mobile router do not understand what SSID is. They do not understand they do not change that stuff. And I'm telling you, all you got to do is get again. This is you have to be security conscious, and you have to think about it, and you have to think that they may be just jerking around because everybody laughs it off if they go, oh, they're just trying to make my vacuum call me gay, right? Okay, or they think you're an idiot, right? But they don't really realize that because they're doing that, there's more nefarious activities at foot, and if you knew that this vacuum will steal my bank account, you'll be like, whoa, I need to change, right? But if you think, oh, it's just trying to make fun of me, it's cool, it's funny, it's kind of cute, right? Do
you want to know what I did to make my RoboVac less intimidating? I drew some eyes and a mouth on it. So when it goes around and it's like sucking things up, it's like a little mini robot. It makes it less intimidating. Yeah, that little tongue.
Darren's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
When people fight the robots, the company makes a robot, and then what was that movie called? It was a cartoon where it's like an Apple company they have like an OS and a phone, and then they release a robot, and then two of the robots go rogue and they draw like with lipstick, they draw like a smiley face on the front.
I think I know. Yeah, I think I've seen
It was really good. Mitchell, the Mitchells.
the
take on
Mitchells.
the
Mitchells,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Very good movie for kids. It's hilarious. But check it out.
Now, perfect segue. Perfect. I have no idea what you're talking about. I just heard lipstick and I tuned out.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what you're going to introduce next.
well, perfect segue because can we talk about robots? So this week, Tesla had revealed their RoboVan, their Robotaxis, and their Tesla robots. Now, we're going to come back to the Tesla robots in just a second. But I want to start with the RoboVan because this one I thought was an interesting... I don't think people expected this from Tesla. So Tesla's released a RoboVan, which is what they call a passenger van, which is meant to replace... What is it meant to replace? Taxis, trains,
They
both.
said more like a city bus. Or
like a city bus.
There is nothing like that RoboVan at all.
Well, they're saying like a team. Like a team could buy this and they could transport them to the games and stuff like that.
Sure.
I see it. I posted on Twitter. I said, I could see people buying this stuff, that they buy old school buses and turning it into a tiny home.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
For real.
Right.
Why does this look like the thing
people?
of My Robot? It
Van
just
life.
looks like My Robot.
Yeah.
It just does.
Pretty cool, though. I think it looks cool. It's like Art Deco. People are.
It is
my
very
wife was
cool
like,
inside.
"That's
Like, I mean, there you go. Someone's already done it, Jace, right? There's a photo right there of someone living a van life right now. I think that's
by the river?
side of a fucking cliff. Someone turned it into a diner here, which I find hilarious to me. But
it's like a food truck.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty interesting concept to me. Like, I like the angle that Tesla's taking here. Like, here there's a picture of a kid's getting on a RoboVan for his school, or for Halloween, getting around the neighborhood. Like, I don't hate the idea. I almost think that this play by Tesla is interesting to me because, for the first time, it's something that I think I can get on board with. Like, both the Robotaxi or the whatever they call that, and the RoboVan being transport, driverless transport methods getting from point A to point B, potentially replacing streetcars, buses, commuter vehicles, we'll call them. It's also really fucking cool looking, if I'm being honest.
Well, here's the other thing. EVs are having a hard time right now. Companies are finding out they're not making a whole lot of money. Tesla's even not making. I mean, they're probably the most profitable of all companies selling EVs, at least in the U.S.
Yeah.
But I think by expanding their portfolio into robo-taxis, whatever else in the future. The robo-taxi is kind of, I think it's a 2-seater, so I don't know how practical it is for families, because supposedly that's the Model 2 that's going to replace the cheapest EV.
Yes.
But I think it's just, you got to make EVs more palatable for humans, just for what it can do. And I think this kind of style, it's definitely on brand for Tesla. It's a weird, unique design.
Yeah.
You're going to love it or hate it. I think it's kind of cool. But the other side of that is, he said, 2 to 3 years it's going to come out? Okay, so in 10 years we'll see it. You know, he's one of those guys that likes to embellish a little bit.
Likes to promise the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think, like, as a means of transport, it's a cool idea. Like you said, I mean, it might just be proof of concept.
Think about teenagers on prom night. They could take
teenagers on prom night, weddings, like
instead of a limo.
Yeah, instead of a limo.
Drive them there, so no one has to worry about getting in trouble. Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Drive you home.
Not that you get in trouble on your prom night. I mean, you definitely.
I think number 11 that on this page is probably the most interesting one to me. The fact that it's implying that you could theoretically transport things without. Not this one. Keep going a little bit.
Oh, next one.
You transfer like storage things. You could transfer stuff.
Number 11. Yeah.
Oh, like this
one more.
One
more. There you go. 11 of 11. That's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I can't see the numbers. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. There's numbers. Sorry. There's numbers.
At the bottom, there's numbers. Go back one more now.
Oh, okay.
So they have one of their robots theoretically bringing like a bunch of tools to repair a Tesla.
That's a cool idea.
So
all of a sudden,
Tesla mobile service.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about like specifically that kind of scenario, but like think about this could be This could be like your trailer, but or this could be the moving pod. Like I call one of these to my house and put all my stuff into it, send it to my new house. And I'll get over there and unload it when I get there.
Yeah, but Devin, what's even cooler about this picture is I didn't think about it. So Tesla has a mobile service where they come to your house or wherever you're at and they'll fix things. They also have roadside assistance. So this would be fantastic for stuff like that too, because Tesla's going to save a bunch of money. I hate to say it this way, but you know, not necessarily with the robots, I guess, but you could stick a bunch of parts in this thing. It's bigger, and you're going to be transported there, and the person comes out, fixes your car. I mean, the guy who came to my house last Friday he drove just a regular Model Y or a Model S, I think it was, just drove to my house with that, and this is so much better because you have more room, you can put things in, and with robots even more, you can have more help. So
I didn't think about this, Devin. I mean, looking at this picture, I mean, I think that might be one of the better applications of this. I mean, I was thinking school bus and limos more, but
you know what I'm thinking? Having a Tech Disruptors mobile podcast van.
That's right. It could drive around between Canada and the US.
It's a studio.
That's right. Oh, a podcast on the Tesla bus or Tesla Robo van. Do you imagine? That's the dream, right?
I'm sure Elon's not listening, but that'd be great.
Yes, but again, it's a really cool concept. This really caught my eye because I thought, what a cool idea, right? Like, let's make commuter vehicles here that aren't just taxis, because we already have Uber and all that. So that's going to be hard sell, I think, for the robo-taxi. But I think this is a cool idea, like a large transport autonomous vehicle that can carry things, transport, do this, pick this up, take you where you need to go. I dig it. I do.
Like I said, going back to the robo-taxi, though, like it's only a 2-seater. There's no steering wheel and no pedals, which is very scary for a lot of people getting into. But he did say one thing. He said all current. I don't know if that means like 22 and up or whatever. All current Model 3s and Ys, he's saying by 2026 we'll have autonomous driving, which means like right now I have full self-driving, which means I don't have to touch the steering wheel, but I have to be paying attention to the road. Like my eyes have to be on the road, it'll beep at you or whatever. But you don't actually have to interact with anything. No. But he's saying this is where you could like sit back, read a magazine, and it's going to drive you everywhere. So it's not just he's doing products, he's doing AI and software too. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
It's a big idea. I mean, I like just this picture here. Like that looks like an image of the future to me. Like that looks like something we could one day see, right? Like let's replace school buses with, drivers who Pretty shitty. I don't know what it's like in the US, but the bus drivers here in Canada are garbage, and most of the time they're older ladies who are past their prime and really don't know how to drive. But and I'm not saying just ladies. I'm just saying that tends to be the demographic. But I mean,
It's got a long way to go. It's money,
does.
it's cost, it's infrastructure, all that stuff.
Darren, are you a
Here is
robo
old man,
vacuum that's
Pastor
been
Prime.
hacked?
Yes, I'm a RoboVac.
Could you
opposite.
imagine a little kid saying, "Hey, let's get on the bus and hack it, and it's going to take us to the amusement park," and there's like a bus
Fuck
missing
this
from
school
school?
shit. Yeah. Now the other part of it was the robo taxi. So the robo taxi is, I think we can call it a direct competitor to Uber. Is that probably a fair?
Well,
way
he
to
said you
describe
can
it?
buy this. It's going to be under $30,000.
30,000. Yeah.
But what I don't understand is it's only a two-seater. So, like, as a family, having a back seat would be nice.
Now, hang on a second. Are you buying it as a taxi or are you buying it as a car?
He
That's
said
what
you
I
could
was just
buy it
thinking.
outright.
As
But-
what?
For what?
Or a personal vehicle?
It'll be in your car.
No,
it's got
no,
wireless
commercial
inductive
use. So you're
charging.
going to turn yourself into a taxi company, is what you're.
No,
gonna do.
well, what he
No,
said
you're
is
not
you
going to
pay-
drive this as a no. No, stop. This no. I listened to this. No, I paid attention to this part. All this automated shit, I don't care about any of this. I'm not into this yet. We're not here yet. Because if you look at these roads, I don't know about you, but in Ohio, I've driven through it. Roads suck. There's construction everywhere. There's potholes and failures everywhere. And this thing is not going to handle that. And on top of this robo taxi is for you to buy a couple of them, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you to leverage them as you can have them as, because here's the thing, if it's a two-seater, it's impractical for 90% of Americans.
Right.
It's impractical. You can't store anything in it. You can't tow anything with it. You can't put anything in it. And it's totally autonomous. There's no operational anything. So these are for people to basically start your own kind of like, oh, you can be your own Uber company. And you can have 2 or 3 of these and leverage these. And no, that's what these are, because they are not
No, you're right.
capable of being
Well,
driven by any human. Period.
Sam,
End of story.
what I've seen, so what I watched the same thing, and especially that part. You're right. He did say you could have your own
Fleet.
flock,
Yes.
fleet
It's a fleet
flock
vehicle.
murder of Tesla robo taxis. But he also said that an individual could purchase this. It'll park in your garage. It'll charge wirelessly, inductively. You jump in the car, it takes you where you're at. It goes back. It comes back to pick you up.
Okay.
No one practically is going to do that because
wireless charging how?
there's actually
MagSafe.
a unit that goes in your ground.
Definitely
that-
MagSafe.
Yeah, it's like a big.
Okay.
It's going to be.
well,
The infrastructure is not going to be there for a while.
no, the
It's a
infrastructure is
concept.
not there now, and people in Middle Ohio, Middle Missouri, Middle Texas are not going to be able to afford anything like this, and it's not practical for 95% of Americans.
Yeah.
Sam,
Okay, this
it's
is a
concept.
30-year.
It's a
Yeah, it's a
concept.
concept. Yeah, but we're not there. And
We'll
here's
get
the thing:
there.
he wants to try to sell this as, well, we're going to have this in 2 years.
Well,
I don't know.
He always does that.
Yeah,
I
I
would-
know it's completely bonkers. And like I said,
You
most
say that
Ameri-
this is impractical for a lot of people, but I have a family. I've got 2 kids, and we do have a minivan. But I think that as a secondary car that I could take to work
Right.
and just literally punch in, take
Yeah.
me to work. I can
Honestly-
sleep for another
Affordable.
20 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This fucking shit is my dream. I fucking hate driving.
Whoa.
And I hate driving with a fucking passion. If this shit
Okay.
can pick me
Darren,
up and take me
Darren,
where I need to go,
Would you text message in this dream of yours?
I honestly I was. But for real, like honestly, this is like my dream car. Like I know some people are not all about like the autonomous driving and they're worried about that, and
So-
they're, it's a long, it's like
Okay.
insurance is probably gonna be a problem. There's a lot of
No,
issues.
I agree. Well, and Devin, let me ask you a question. So when you're commuting to work, are you taking your family with you?
No, so I'm saying like my wife usually takes the kids, drops them off at her parents' place on her way to work, and I could, I take the extra car, the
Right.
secondary
So-
car as a.
So why can't we leverage public transportation and or Hyperloop or some other kind of
Right.
commuter
Robovan.
Look, I'll tell you right now, if there was a way from my house to a commuter, I wouldn't drive my car ever. I would get on
yeah.
and especially in larger major cities where you already have like the L, right, in Chicago, right? We have the subway system. Can we not? Why can the future be not individually owned, traffically congested vehicles. And isn't the future supposed to be a world where there's a hyperloop where if everybody's going to downtown St. Louis, why can't people, the 2.5 million Americans that live in the St. Louis metropolitan area, leverage a safe, effective transit system where that it's controlled by either a private company? Fine. Can we please get away from, the whole point is getting away from single-use vehicles clogging roadways in an American city.
But Sam, you're talking about cities.
Isn't that
I live in rural,
isn't that the
I live
point?
in rural Ohio. I don't have cities. Everything's far away.
Yeah.
So
Neither do
we
I.
have to-
I live in
right
St.
now
I
we
live.
have
I
to-
don't live in St. Louis. I
So for
live in
me,
the middle of nowhere.
I drive maybe 25 minutes a day. That's to work and back. But there's no like city scrapes. There's no hustle and bustle. It's just 2-lane highways everywhere.
Right.
When I do my
drive
full
an hour.
self-driving in my Tesla, it takes me directly from my house to my work. And there's construction, there's barrels, there's people getting on the side of the road. It pulls over. It does, for what it's worth right now. It's pretty damn good, and it's only going to get better. But there's multiple purposes. But I agree with you. In cities like big cities, taxis, trolleys, trains. This could be a viable solution. Like what's the other self-driving taxi? Waymo? Is it Waymo?
Waymo, our favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a good idea for that. I 100% agree with that. But I think if people who live out in the community where we're not close, where there's not public transit, where there's not enough funding for that kind of stuff, I think like Devin said, having we have that extra vehicle. When you have a family of 4 or 5, you're like, oh, well, we have that one vehicle for the family. But I see what you're saying. You want to eliminate those extra vehicles that we don't need.
I live farther than you do. I live in a rural area that's 50 miles from my current place of employment. And I'm telling you, I don't want to drive at all. And Darren doesn't want to drive at all. So
well, I'm just a lazy fuck, though. I just don't want to drive.
But here's the thing. If you lived in a metropolitan area where you could literally get on any transit system, like a network, right? The whole point is the whole point should be less vehicles on the roadway that are more efficient. Yeah. And major cities, and here's the thing, you can expand that. They talked about Hyperloop. Why can't you make Hyperloop a thing for closely urban areas within a 30 to 70 mile radius of a metropolitan area? Now, I'm not talking if you live in central Ohio, right? Clearly, if you live in central Missouri or central Montana. But isn't the point of that where you have less people on the road and less vehicles and more guided transition and guided systems where you don't have people, where Devin can get on a thing and go, I can get on it. I'm going to work. His wife's got a vehicle to go grocery shopping or doing the things that families do. But if he's going to work every day, dude, I would love to walk out my door, get onto a Hyperloop that's maybe a half mile away and go right downtown in St. Louis and drive. If you did that to me, I would get rid of my Mustang literally tomorrow.
That's literally
tomorrow.
That's probably the end goal. I'm just thinking right now, like the town I live in.
But everything is being sold to me as a single-use vehicle or a dual-use vehicle. And I don't think that's the solution.
You want to know what the problem is for me? I hate other people. I hate other drivers. I hate just generally the chaos of like the stupid drivers on the road.
So if you get on a train, you don't have to worry about driving. If I get on sit back and be a passenger, Princess Darren. We love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I live about 25 minutes outside of the city of Toronto. So I mean, we have a commuter trains that go, but the closest one to me is it's further than my workplace. Right. So me going on the train would be pointless because it's past where I need to go. Like I think I'm like an 8-minute drive from my workplace.
I just still think the ultimate goal to me would be a system where
I agree,
where public transit and public delivery of people safely across systems would be better than single-use Tesla Model Ys, Model X's, Ioniq 5s, where you're just driving to work. Like I would think that everybody, right? That's the ultimate goal, and maybe we get there in 100 years.
Yeah, it should be.
I think so.
But
I think if you're having a car, then you have options. Well,
that's it.
Well, it's not just EVs. Most Americans and most people drive gas cars, so it's the same thing. I mean, we're trying to. At one point, the government was trying to get people off gas cars on the EVs. Well, that didn't work out because EVs were too expensive. There's too many, limitations. There's no infrastructure. It's going to take time. And when I told my friend the other day, he's like, "Are EVs dead?" No, they're not dead. They're going to be like hybrids and gas cars. They're going to all coexist, and people are going to buy what they want. And eventually, whatever major gas, electric, hybrid ends up being the choice, is what's going to end up being the end all be all. But I think the end goal is to have that automatic, transportation for everybody.
Listen, at the end of the day, I still think it's a cool idea what he's trying to do. It may not be, like Jason said, I don't think it's the end goal. Like, I think a blend of what Sam and Jason are saying is kind of what we would want, like a quick means to get downtown without the congestion, right? Like, that's kind of always the end goal. Now, one of the things that at this event that he also brought out was some creepy, somewhat AI-driven, lifelike robots.
Can you please tell me you have the robots dancing?
I do have. I have them all. I have all the clips you want to see here. So I'm just going to pull this one out.
Great
Yeah, that's
video.
close.
Okay, so what games do we play?
What games do I play? I play charades. You want to play charades?
That sounds great. You do.
Yeah, let's do it.
You could tell
I got one for you.
someone's
Ready?
speaking
Yeah.
to it.
Maybe.
Let's do it. One word.
But the robot's
Ready?
actually moving. It's pretty smooth.
Alright, here we go.
Pretty sure we
I think it's someone with a synced up suit.
looks like you're
Could be.
fishing.
Yeah.
Garfield is doing on.
That's right, you got it. Nice work. Here's some Air 5.
So that was one clip. Now,
Do you
Jason.
remember his first video? What was it, 4 or 5 years ago, where he said he was
Yeah.
making and it was a person in a suit?
Yes, a person in a suit.
He's come a long way.
Yeah. So this was another clip of it serving drinks.
It's got a pixel, by the way.
That dude had a pixel. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, pixel.
Isn't it sad that society we live in, we walk up to someone with
Yeah.
a camera recording automatically?
Oh, is he just pouring beer out of a tap? Who cares?
I mean, who can't do that?
No, anyway. I mean, hell, your
Choose
daughter.
robot.
Darren, your daughter could do that.
I know, honestly.
Let's make a mixed drink. Hey, robot asshole, make me an old fashioned. Oh, by the way, Maker's Mark, go for
Hang on,
it.
I want to see the pour skill here.
Nope, terrible pour.
No,
Nobody pours
absolutely.
that way. You don't
He's
pour
done
the
it at
back
an
end.
angle.
No,
But there's
it's
still a lot of
but
head
you
on
don't
that
pour the
beer,
top
yeah.
end. You pour on the bottom end. You're gonna get foam that way.
Yeah.
What is he serving? Fucking.
That's
What is that?
that's
is
not beer.
Hawaiian punch.
It's some that's
beer.
That essentially is Hawaiian punch.
That's
First of all,
Hawaiian.
Elon Musk.
First of all,
nobody-
Drinks a whole lot of alcohol.
that's cool. It's doing a beer tap. That's kind of nice, unless you want anything other than a beer, right?
Well,
Then
I'm going to be
you're
honest with
kinda-
you. Looking at all those nerds there, they're probably underage anyway. But I mean,
Right.
yeah, let's
He's
be
like,
honest.
I got a purple beer. It's probably an IPA.
You know,
Yeah.
if I was at this event, I'd be like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing." But then when you take a step back and you actually
Yeah.
watch the videos, like when I watch the live stream, I go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Then I kind of thought, I'm like,
Look
that
how
guy's
nervous that
talking
guy
like somebody-
looks.
Yeah, the
one
guy in the
there
red
middle
lanyard.
with the red lanyard.
Yeah.
You're like, dude,
Yeah,
you can't
he's
fucking
like,
shoot
I
me.
hope he doesn't mess this up.
It almost looks like shit. I hope he doesn't drink that.
Well, those are
It's
Tesla
like-
employees, so they're like, you can see when you interact, they're like kind of like telling them, "Hey, don't get too close. Watch what you're
Yeah.
doing," and stuff like that. So
Again, like I said, this is great if they're just tapping, right? A
Yeah.
beer tap. But this thing's not going to make you anything other than a drink. And I don't know what purple drink comes out of the tap. I
they
don't know what
actually
the
have an
hell they're-
attachment for the hand to do your annual physical.
Yeah, and the little finger just goes in there. And like,
I'll get you a beer, and boy, by the way, do you need a, do you need a prostate exam? Drink up, Shriners. That's fine.
Listen,
Ew,
Yeah,
could
I
you
gotta be
imagine
honest
pouring
with
you
you.
a beer while give me
I don't know. First of all, I've poured many beers out of a tap in my day. Nobody does it like that. That's weird.
no.
It's cool.
Well-
It's a robot. I don't feel the suspenders. That's a little weird because nobody wears suspenders.
You know
but
what?
okay.
I wouldn't want the
I feel
Tesla
like
to
we're in
say-
Westworld.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't want Tesla's
Hey, I didn't
robot
see
to
it
give me a
dancing.
physical now.
I didn't see the dance. off.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah, there is a dance
They're
off.
in
Hang on,
their
let me see if I
cage
can
and they're
find
dancing the
it.
music, and
Hang on.
the only thing I will say is the robots are very fluid, whether they're being controlled by humans or not. It is very, and you could tell he spent millions and millions on these robots. Do I think someone's got a Neuralink chip in their head and they're controlling these things? I don't know. Maybe.
I'll see. I think this is the clip. Hang on one second.
Here's the thing. I'm just glad I'm going to be dead in 25 years statistically. I don't know if I'm ready for this one.
Jesus.
Just saying.
Morbid.
I'm just saying. I'm almost.
I
I have not. Dude, I'm just not feeling this
We're
at
going
all.
to take your consciousness and put them in one of these Tesla robots.
Dude, no, hell no. Nobody wants to be in these. I want to be off this planet and be done with it.
Can I just bring a point? So we've talked about this on the show before, how a lot of these robot makers give the face a human appearance, but I actually like that Tesla doesn't. Like, it's just a blank canvas, right?
The robot I was talking about, Mitchell's Take on the World or whatever, they look exactly like that. It's just a blank, like, black, like, screen.
Yeah.
And then the guys, like, they draw, like,
just draw the face on.
Yeah, like a smiley face to make them look more human.
I want them to have, like, a Joker-esque kind of, like, cut across their mouth, because that would be impressive to me, but... Well, listen.
This is all great, but I don't know, man. I'm getting an iRobot vibe, and I'm not feeling it, man. I'm sorry.
You know what? I saw a meme on Twitter or X, whatever, and they actually compared like iRobot to the Elon Musk event, and there's the big van that came out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the van that looks like the three.
Oh yeah, when they open up and they.
Dude, I'm telling you, it looks exactly like that. It's crazy. I'm telling you,
it's the Mitchells versus the machines.
I saw them.
Look, I'm gonna tell you guys, you gotta watch. It's actually, even if you're an adult, it's still a pretty funny.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it's good. I thought it was really
good. Listen, guys, that actually brings us to the end of the show. I've actually just gone and invested $1 million in the robot finger, and I'm going to try to send text messages through my dreams tonight to Elon Musk to send me a robo taxi to pick me up and just see what happens.
If you got the robot, if you got the finger going on before the dreams happen, those might be some fun dreams. Just saying, you might want to try that first.
Hang on, imagine what that text message is going to be after that happens.
And then it's time for OnlyFans for you, Darren. It's a self-filling loop.
This kind of hurts.
Tons of content.
Anyway, so thank you very much for tuning into the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren, and this lovely gentleman, my co-host, is Jason. We got Devin, we got Jojo, we got Sam. We got the whole family in here tonight, and it was a great show. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We appreciate it.
And in closing, remember one thing.
Yes.
For males out there, please get your annual physicals at a doctor's office. Do not rely on a 5-inch finger.
Yes.
Especially if you're over 40, 45, please make sure you do your yearly maintenance.
Jojo.
Yes. That's how Jojo's giving the thumbs up. Hopefully he doesn't use the thumb. Okay, so anyway.
Wow.
On that note.
Thumb's not long enough. It won't reach.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry,
one of my favorite quotes from a movie, I think it's American Pie Wedding or American Pie The Reunion. You can always buy yourself a lot of time with a well-placed thumb. But anyway, on that note, you can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Good Pods. We are there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we will be back next week with more crazy tech. I don't know if it's going to be a tech after dark kind of scenario again, but I tell you what, I don't know if that was just the feeling in the air tonight. Must be that, Aurora Borealis thing that's going on over here right now.